Okay.
Not right at the moment.
Good.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. That works fine.
Okay.
I guess we went over the roll call and everything. We just got right into to Dan's.
This one? Well, here I kind of got two. There's another, I printed out. I've got the one that goes back to 2016, and it's the same thing as this. So you do that. See if that works. But that's what you're talking about. You want this one? You want this one, yes? Okay. That's okay, it's okay.
Do we want to do Rick first so he can leave if he wants? Or do you want to do Dan first?
Danny will have to be here anyway, so just do Rick's.
Might as well.
If you want, but that way you can sneak out if you need to. Okay. So do you know offhand how much the salaries are for each officer?
As far as it, I know they make 19 an hour, and
But you don't know the,
I'm the exact amount. No, I don't know.
We had some
I
notes.
think
from
we
last
have them from last year. You're at 50, right?
52.5.
You are?
Yes.
Can you name who your officers are that are on?
Can you hear Deborah at all?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay.
Is Officer Mendoza, Officer Resendez, Officer Trevino, Officer Briones, and of course myself.
Who would that one before Briones?
Hmm?
That one that you
Sergio
heard?
Trevino.
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 Briones is Daisy.
Yes, ma'am. That's Daisy.
What was Trevino's salary? What are you starting him out at?
19 an hour.
19 an hour?
I'll calculate. 39.5.
Ladora is it also is with us?
So I've just pulled the annual salary report for the city, so I can tell you exactly what the salaries are if you'd like to know.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Dan, I'd like to know.
All right, if you'll, let me, Officer Mendoza is at 43,006 per year. Officer Resendez, 45,760. Officer Briones, 37,000, well, 38,000. Chief Vasquez at about 52.5. Officer Trevino is 40,000, 41,000. And I think that's everybody other than, let me see,
Adora. Bueno.
Adora.
Oh, there's going to be Vivian.
Oh yeah, there's Vivi. Ladora is at 31,000 and Vivian Aranda is at 20,000. 19.5.
Who is that?
That is the admin,
I didn't
Vivian Aranda.
I didn't know we had one of them.
I'm sorry, did I miss something?
I didn't know we had one of those.
You know, we had a secretary.
Oh, yeah, it was budgeted in. I spoke with Dan, and me and him both agreed that the running around and everything, and all the stuff that I've been doing administrative during the COVID-19, that I need to be able to be kind of fluid in the field as well as in the office, and also make meetings with, all of you guys and everybody else as well. So that's kind of something that it was budgeted already in this year. To have me an administrative assistant and somebody who needed a job with a clear criminal background was wanting to come and work part-time with us to open the front doors of the police station at the hours that are on the door, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8 to 9. So we have the police station open, and she is manning the front door and helping me out with other records requests and other administrative duties in the future that I'll be training her to do. We've already got her CJIS certified, which is something that needed to be done immediately because she's going to be handling criminal records and law enforcement stuff. So not for public dissemination.
I have another question too, Chief. Why are we starting Trevina out more than Verona's? She's been here 2 years or so. Why are we doing that?
As far as I understood, I wanted a 6-month deal with me and Dan, but Dan just went ahead and put him at 19 an hour from our discussion, and I figured that's about what it was. Trevino does have more experience probably than I think Resendez. Well, it's easily say, yeah, Resendez and Briones both are fairly new to law enforcement. Trevino has at least 10 years. He has a intermediate peace officer license, and he's got a good tenure at Plainview PD. So he knows the job and the routine of working in small to medium-sized towns. And I think that's probably why, because of his peace officer license and his credentials.
Can I ask, the prices that you gave us, does that include the overtime or not?
No, this is the salary report, ma'am. This is basic, their standard salary. I will let you know that that as of
Oh, I'm sorry, do what?
No.
I was just going to say that this last payroll, there was no overtime from the police department. As a matter of fact, none of the officers had even worked their full 86-hour allotment this last payroll.
So are we close to did you add that up?
I did, it's
So Resendez is-
271, 360.
Representative is higher than Mendoza and Trevina.
I'm sorry?
Resendez is higher than everybody.
Yes, Resendez is higher than everybody. And why that is, I'm not sure if you guys are paying him more or if you.
Well, at the time, he was, what is the lieutenant or whatever,
Yeah, he
second in
was-
charge. He was given that title by Grunstrom. And so,
Yes.
Right.
He upped his salary.
We didn't know it. It was only budgeted at 38,000.
Well, I mean, obviously that's good. Resendez is extremely valuable to the department. And I mean, actually all the officers are and all the staff. I got to give them a big round of applause. Everybody is really doing a stand-up job to make the department run well. And they're helping me out. I mean, it's just great. I can't complain one bit, guys. I can't.
And with hiring Trevino and it helping out with the overtime, that is great.
It just made it 0 for this month. And that's going to be the case most of the time. Granted, if in the future, guys, we're fixing to tackle on a problem in the fall that I've spoke with the mayor about and you guys maybe in Pasadena and stuff, that we are trying to make the city safer. And it's not where I like it. I know that that's probably the agreement with everybody here. It's not where we want it to be. Though I can't tell you that I'm going to make the city completely crime-free because that's just not realistic. I am working with state level folks and federal folks on the outside. And I also am working with the DA's office here locally, and we're working together to get a solution that is safe for the city, safe for us officers, and safe for basically everybody all the way around well, I'll be honest with you, take these guys out and clean house.
So
I'll be honest.
there's gonna be some steam or some,
Yes, ma'am, there is. This is, of course, this is all just, this
yeah.
is not for public dissemination.
No.
And, I have the trust of my council here, you guys,
Yes, yeah.
and of course, the mayor
I'm glad
and
to hear
Dan and
that.
everybody, but we are working, with that
Right.
situation.
Might I just make it known, Rick, this will be published.
Oh, thank you for letting me know that now. Anyway, so it's okay. They're not gonna know who, when, where, and why, and how. They just know it's just, and if the message is out, let them know. We're coming. That's it.
Be ready.
So that's it. So, that's all there is to it. But we are working to make the
I
city
was
safe.
gonna bring something up, but I don't think it'd be a good idea to bring it up. It's just gonna-
I wish we had an editor, a little blooper thing we could.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we can't do that with freedom of information.
Thank you so much for letting me know. Appreciate it.
Okay.
So can we just start going down line for line, Charles, and like we've done in the past and get busy?
That would be fine, but I'm really kind of gonna like, starting a new officer with more than Barones is making it. She worked her butt off, 2 officers for a long time. And then coming in, somebody coming, putting them over her. I don't think that's very good. If it got back to her, I would be real upset if I was her.
And that she's the only woman.
Can I ask, is Mendoza, he has other jobs, we all know that.
Yes, ma'am.
We had him down at 38 do you think that was something that one of the other chiefs? Dan, can you tell us that?
All right, what is that?
We had Mendoza and Resendez at 38,000 and now they're up to 43 and 45. Do you know who gave them the raise, and was it Chief Gunstrom or?
Well, it would have been one of the chiefs. Now, I was reading this without highlighting. Officer Briones is 38,000. She's making $27 an hour overtime. Her base rate is $18.26. And Mr. Trevino is making $18.26. They're in parity. As to why it's showing slightly more for Officer Trevino, I'd have to look into it a little bit more, but their hour rate is the same.
Okay. Okay.
And I looked at that again because when the chief and I discussed what he ought to be paying Officer Trevino, I figured that we should pay him the same as the other rookie officer on the force, which was Daisy. So that's where that figure came from. We did talk about it. It wasn't an arbitrary decision.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
So it really might not be.
Okay, Deborah, yeah, let's just go down like you were talking about, like we've been in the past.
Okay. Next one is the overtime. We're showing, year to date, we used 36. He did tell us though that this last month they didn't use any. The requested is 12,000, which would be about $1,000 a month. Let's go ahead and plug that in there. What do y'all think?
I would leave it.
And then on postage, it's used 26. And this is that's through August. So September is just 1 month. So we might could lower that to 3,000. If this is because it's going to be through September the 30th, just 1 more month. We can look at it and kind of see if that's an option.
Well, it's August.
It is through September, you're right. Well, but isn't this through August the 31st?
Well, but
No.
you can't say that because today's just the 10th, right? So at least 45 more days.
So you're saying that these
Well,
year-to-date
it's
stuff
just gonna
probably
be a little
doesn't
more
have.
than a month, is what I was gonna say, like a
Okay.
month and a half.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we'll leave it.
You wanna do 32 or?
Yeah, I think we can do that.
And in materials and supplies, we use 1,780, 2,100. We do have to think of cost of living, it's gonna go up, so yes. Telephone,
100?
yes. And y'all speak up, if you think
No,
we need to
no.
change anything. Telephone, it's right at 78.6, you used to put 81. Have you had to get another phone?
Not yet.
You know-
It's a good chance.
Well, you know, Nikki bought a bunch of phones, so that's why that's so much more. You know, it says year-to-date 78.59, but they probably gave him phones, but the service is all fine.
One of the things we need to consider is the 2 new vehicles that we have. They also have phone numbers. All the vehicles have phone numbers because they're using Wi-Fi.
Okay.
To use the
okay,
cloud sync, so we can run people's driver's license,
Okay,
get
okay.
that information. And we also have the phones for each officer, and LaGroya has a phone. We have a lot of phones.
I bet we better bump that to 8,500.
I don't know how much.
I think
Dan,
it's-
what's on that telephone line item for him? What actually comes out of that? Is it their cell phones and their office?
Their portion of the office phone. We have the, this virtual receptionist system here. So that's split there. There's one landline for each office. There are 3 offices that participate in that system. That's the municipal court, administration, and the police. So each one has a fax line. That's the landline that is dedicated to it. And so that's not much. It's about $100 a month for the police. But it is all of the cell phones. That's all their hotspots. That's everything with Verizon. That's the big phone charge for them. And they do have quite a hefty bill, but on the other hand, it's necessary. And with Verizon government, in the event of any kind of a disaster, they have priority over any other phone traffic. They're going to be connected when nobody else is. So there's a premium price to pay for that, but there's no cheaper way that I'm aware of.
So if we increase that to 9,000,
If you divide 78.59 by 10. there's-
Yeah, that would certainly be enough.
9,400.
oh, okay.
So if you bump that up to 9,500, and look at that next line, item, we can take that money back.
Oh, yeah.
And utilities, okay.
I mean, I would think 1,500. I've only
Mhm.
I think 1,500.
And then we're at fuel, oil, and lubricants. We have used 14,000, and we've got it at 17,000, which we will all admit the price of gas has gone down, and we all hope that it will go up.
Well,
So
yeah.
the economy will
Well,
be
see,
better.
last year we budgeted 26,000 and he's only used 14.4. So if you do 14.4,
I shifted the police department to a different vendor. Renee wanted to stay with Brownfield Farmers Co-op, but the police department is shifted to Fuel Man, and we get quite a better price from them per gallon than we do from the Farmers Co-op. That's something that's made a difference in that line item also.
We need to go on one. Mhm.
I think just leave it at 17.
Much as they drive around, yeah, we need.
And then uniforms, 3,000 should be good. Do you have any, I mean, you never know when someone's gonna leave or something, but that should do.
That should do, we have full staff now. and we're gonna order new uniforms. Even Vivian, I was thinking, I told her there should be some days that I would want some official dress, you know.
Don't make her look like a cop.
No, I'm not gonna make her look like a cop.
Like the chaplain.
But she is one of ours and stuff. So I don't know. I was thinking if you guys don't mind 32, because get her some maybe some polo shirts or some pants to look official if she's going to be with me.
Okay, let's go ahead and say 35, just to, I mean, we can always take it off. And,
Let me have that pen.
building repairs, we've used the 3,100 and, gosh, I'm not for sure what that would have been for. Maybe new doors
Remember,
and
they were
locks.
gonna do
They were-
some
they
work.
Well,
did
Dan
change
did all
out
that,
it.
that Pastor Reynolds did all that
Yes.
remodeling.
So I think the 1,500, do you know of anything, Rick, that needs to be done?
We just had the water heater replaced because it went out on us, and we had all the lights replaced to LED lights on the inside because they were all flickery and looked like milk was going through a straw.
Oh,
And we were like, it's getting dark in here, so we called them in. And the mayor is the one that gave us, the guy who gave us a good price and came in and did the water heater and the lights.
okay.
So everything is okay for now. So the 15 or 1,700 would be right in the ballpark.
Well, I got, my eyes got off. The uniforms is 3,500.
Yes.
Building repairs is what?
15.
All right.
And then the next is automobile and equipment repair. We've spent 10,000. I know that we had several, I mean, with our new vehicles, hopefully that should go down.
Yes, dramatic.
So the 6,500 looks good.
That's, yeah.
And then we have radio repairs at 1,000.
Let's hold up on the automobile repairs. You know, we had started something like getting our vehicles checked real regular in Seminole with someplace. You know, they were getting I can't think of the name of that company, but we started a kind of a procedure with them to check the vehicles more regular.
Is it
And
black?
we stopped it when Mickey came aboard. But I know Calvin had got them set up to have their vehicles, you know, because it was supposed to be a certified mechanic working on our vehicles in order for us to, you know, get warranties and that sort of thing. So those people were, and that's what we started using them. I don't know if we want to continue that or not, but that's like the new vehicles. If there's any work needs to be done, or they need to be done with a certified mechanic in order to keep the warranty. You might want to, I mean, you might want to increase it a little. I don't know how much, but if they're gonna, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear Deborah.
Am I thinking that should be in that 17,000?
Your oil and lubricants?
I mean, where you're having your oil checked and they're checking every
Yeah.
once a month.
Okay. Well, that may be, yeah, you're right. Just leave it like it is.
Okay, and so then we're at radio repairs. We left that at 1,000. And then, because we do have new radios, am I right on there?
Yeah.
Okay. So travel expense, we've spent 2,100. You're probably gonna go to some schools or have some people if they're available.
The officers are already being encouraged to go to school to train themselves to be better police officers, better professionals all the way around as far as the school and legal stuff, legal stuff that they need to know to better do their job, as well as tactical training and shooting classes and stuff to become better with that, and use of force training as well, tasers and stuff like that as well. I've encouraged them to go, which is a good thing. And I unfortunately, by the state, I have to go through 2 chief of police schools next year. It's mandated. I don't have a choice. So I've already signed up for both of them. One of them is May. I was going to use this opportunity to tell you guys. And the next one is late July. So it's late May, late July. It's the new chief school, and then right after that is the regular chief school. And one is in Huntsville for late May, and the other one is in San Antonio for late July. And that's why you'll see the increase for those 2 schools, the hotels, stuff like that I'll be staying at. The thing is that they pick 5-star hotels, and they pick the venue, I guess, of the hotels. What do you call it? The visitation rooms down there, the conference rooms. They pick the big halls and stuff, and then so I like to stay in the hotel that it's at, so I can just come down and get my international continental breakfast, and then go to class, and usually it's a working lunch deal, so they don't let us out. So I'd like to be right there.
Sounds good.
However the hotels are doing.
Y'all think 3,500's enough?
It wouldn't hurt my feelings to go at least 40 or 4,000. It wouldn't hurt.
That's gonna
Feel when, yes, which,
Goes back to.
okay, on advertising and printing, we've used 130. I was looking in the past, we've never gone over 500. Do we want to lower that to 500? And then
We can. It's not a problem. The only reason that I was asking for the boost is for some PR relations. When this stuff lets up, I haven't really got out a chance to shake and move with the community, and I was looking to do that with some advertising stuff. But that's, like I said, that's the reason there's the increase for the 1,000.
let's leave it. We'll get through and see how we stand. So cleaning services and supplies, we can leave that at 500. Anyone speak up if you have something different?
doing good.
Dues and memberships, we've used, minimal, and even in 18, 19.
948, so.
Yes. So, I mean, I know there is some dues and membership that you have to pay.
But you have to think that we've been without much leadership for quite a while this year, so.
That's why that's probably done. Okay, that looks good to me too. And y'all, like I said, speak up. Professional fees, legal accounting.
What would that? Just, police department,
There probably will be budget adjustments to that account. There have been quite a few legal expenses that we haven't paid directly, but the Officer Zalewski's incident last year, both of the criminals involved in that filed lawsuits against the city. And as a matter of fact, only today I had to write a check for in excess of $8,500 to the risk pool as our deductibles for liability. These clowns have actually been awarded $11,000 for their lawsuits against the city
for what?
because they can. One of them alleges that our police officers harassed him when he came through because they racially profiled him and picked on him. He got money for it. I guess he can buy lots of cigarettes.
Or all of his children that's running around here.
Well put, Dan. Lots of cigarettes.
Y'all think the 2,000 is good?
Well, I just leave it.
Okay. And then we have workers' compensation, and I think those are,
Pretty standard.
yes, I think that's both of those, the workers' comp and the insurance. Then we go down to training in schools. Gosh, I thought travel expense. So see, that's another thing. That's a good thing that you have both of those to kind of get, yes, to help out on both. Does everybody think 3,500
Trainings in
is good?
schools.
Yeah, I think so.
So 35.
Yes. The good thing is it kind of shows they have used more in
But
the 2 years prior.
but your officers won't like stay a week or nothing like that. Or like how long do
There are some classes that'll be a 2-day class, and a
2-day.
3-day class, but that's about it. And that's the intermediate classes that Civ and Briones need to start. It's going to make them better officers on how to use force and how to do their paperwork and better do their job as a police officer and working with the public. What they more can and cannot do, I think, is good stuff. Good training for them.
Deborah, when, on that next item, it's got Social Security and Medicare, when you do 7.65%, which is Medicare and Social Security together, is that still what it is?
I don't do my own anymore. so.
Well, I had to go do her payroll the other day, I think. That's 20,759, so we better bump that up,
For social security.
yeah,
Okay,
to 21.
okay. You know, the good thing is too, is, you know, well, yeah, because that's just based on regular, not overtime, so.
And what is the actual contribution? Dan, what's the contribution for the retirement? It's not.
City contribution is 10.68% this year. It'll probably go up. The TMRS operates on a calendar year, so we'll find out in January. But it goes up every year. I don't know, maybe it may actually decrease. I doubt it, because the less that they earn in their fund off of investments, the more they're going to have to ask for cities. This is one of the things that the auditors talk about. This is the GASB rule. These are an unfunded mandate. And so far, Seagraves is in the black on that. It all depends on how many active retirees we're supporting. And as your population retires out and has length of service, then that unfunded mandate is going to increase, and therefore our contribution will have to increase to keep pace with it.
Thank you.
So
That looks good if it's 10% of that.
Well, 10% of 271, 360 is 28,900. So it's about 2.
Now, it's 10% of what, the 271?
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
because that's the
27.
base salary. Yeah.
27,100.
If she did 10.5%.
I did 10 point, what'd you say, Dan? 10.8 something?
Okay.
10.68 this year, ma'am.
My numbers, 10 point. It didn't change much. It's 28,981. It changed by $27.
So 29,000.
29, yeah. I was thinking, and then the health insurance, and I'm looking at what they've spent in the past, so that with us being fully staffed, I'm sure we're gonna use every bit of that. So,
The 50.
yes. Unemployment compensation, we haven't used that in several years. Capital outlay.
We gotta do our new vehicles.
And that, yes, and I was looking to see, because last year, capital outlay was the dog catcher pickup that we,
No,
We didn't budget it because.
we,
I thought we have 8, so we didn't budget it.
we were gonna get.
We're gonna get that ED.
FDIC budget.
So we could have got one, we just didn't pursue the
Mhm.
economic development. Okay?
Yeah.
So the
And that may be
3,000,
coming because we're fixing to build a fence around that.
Oh, good. Yeah, I heard something about that.
I done talked to Renee and her people are gonna do it. We just, if you'll get with her, see how big we need it.
Sure, no problem.
I'd like to get some covered parking too. Are you talking about behind the?
No, I'm talking about at the dog.
Oh,
The little
sure.
dog pound
Okay.
until we get the.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking visual. Okay, so the capital outlay,
Yeah, covered parking.
it looks like we have the pickups in the 21,000, which is debt retirement. I have, or 2 Tahoes is where I have that.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
So what do we need to do with that?
can you think of anything that you're gonna need?
We might need to make payments on.
Yeah.
Aren't you gonna request a vehicle?
Yes,
first,
I'm gonna
Pandora?
request a vehicle for our dog catcher. That vehicle's,
I still think the Economic Development Board's gonna do that.
okay, if the economic board can do that, I can.
Right, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about doing it that way, but it's so clear, you know, when
We
long,
can,
long as it's gonna take for us to get that building done, I think, I mean, they need a better big vehicle than what they got. I mean, it's just,
why don't you, Rick, why don't you, can I do this without an economic development meeting? Get him to get prices,
Want quotes?
Sure.
single cab pickup, and we also need the bed, the
yeah,
dog enclosure, the specialty bed
Gotcha.
that goes in there. And probably a long bed, don't you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Get some quotes on that, and we'll present them to the EDC.
Single cab, long bed.
they look at the one that Seminole have. I mean, it is really nice, but it's real, it's a good, one to pattern after, because it's really set up for animal control. I mean, it's all we have is not.
You asked if there was anything else. There is one other thing that's happened. You know, I put these numbers in, and then lo and behold, something started to rear its ugly head as far as our technology. And I was just going to mention it, if not after this, then after we did this, I was going to mention it. But we have body cameras that are on us, and they are very, very important for us. Some of them are starting just after I put the bid in. They're running out. The batteries are starting to go down. They're not operating like they're supposed to be. A long duration call, they would go out while they were sitting there talking, and it's just going to turn off on them.
That's not replaceable battery. The whole
No,
thing has to.
unfortunately, the company that we've been going with is a reputable, high-grade company called WatchGuard. Now, I have been working in the past. I have worked with another company called Wolfcom. They are a newer company, and they're reputable, and they are doing business, I guess, better than WatchGuard.
What do they cost each?
The body cams themselves each cost $400. That's the Wolfcom.
Just go ahead and buy them and issue. Don't y'all think? Look at our budget. We're at 427, and we had a budget of 512.
Where we at?
I'm just talking
Oh,
about.
oh, generally, it's general budget.
Yeah,
I was going to look for whatever's left over since it started to happen and scrape up what had left. Just
well,
5 of them.
I mean,
one for each
that's,
of us.
there ain't no way I mean, you're talking 2,500, 3,000 at the most.
That's the purchase for the body cams. We also need to buy a docking station and a storage drive to put the videos and stuff in.
You
So
make share.
we can if we need to,
No.
but it's better that each officer has their own. They take better care of it in the long run. It just seems to work that way, like giving each officer their own vehicle.
Well, look, guys,
What you got?
okay, we budgeted last year 512,900. They've only used 427, 406. That's 85,000. There ain't no way you're gonna use 85,000 in the next 45 days. I wouldn't think.
I could with this new system.
What do you mean?
I could with this new system. I mean,
What do you mean? I don't know what you're saying.
well, like I said, when the body cams started to go out, they also need a docking station and they need storage in-house and software.
And that would be $85,000.
It's close to it.
Oh my.
I can make it work in a lot cheaper level. And of course, I just was looking more on the lines of I wanted one for, not only every officer, but one for Ladora. I also wanted one for Vivian in case somebody came into the police station and it was going to be.
What about just video camera in that room in the building? Dan has some.
That's something we can do, but those are fixed cameras, and there's a story behind some of that. I guess maybe for another time we'll talk about it. But I guess the one thing that we can do, I was going to scrape together the money, at least buy 3 cameras, the software, and start using one of our older computers. Just whatever we had, I could get together to do it.
Well, get a price on it.
What have you got one on?
I was actually on the phone with them today with Wolfcom and talking to them and seeing what we could do. And I told them I had to look at the budget and what was left, I was gonna go ahead and try to start this way, and then when we get the new budget, I was gonna dump some more money into it and get the rest of it, whatever we needed, but it's $400, $399 a unit. It has a 2-year, was it a 1-year warranty on it? And if we get the 2-year warranty on top of that, which is like $179, in 24 months, we can actually just turn that one in and get a brand new one. As long as we get that warranty with it, we get a brand new one for $200 for each officer, which it pays off to go ahead and get that extended
You would
warranty.
do one every 2 years.
You get a new one every 2 years. That's all. That was one of the things we were looking at. So it's
But you still haven't told me. I mean, I know you said 85,000, but what are you really?
no, not 85,000. Not 85,000.
That's what we thought.
That's why she
That's
laughed.
right.
That's why she laughed.
I mean, I was,
Well, you,
did I sound like
I thought
said
you were playing around and you
85,000?
said no, for real. And I thought, well,
I
God,
was like,
we
okay,
get it.
well, just, I mean,
We'll go sell 2 Tahoes.
you're
That's
saying,
right. No, 8,500 for the setup that
okay,
the
don't
complete
you
set.
think we could do it on this? I say,
I mean, it's viable. I
It
mean,
is antiquated. It is just like I said, after I submitted these numbers, that's when, hey, chief, this just, and then one of the other
and
ones.
Dan,
they also
can't we
start going out
adjust the
and I was
budget?
like,
I mean, we don't need to, but can you tell him where he can put it? As far as making it work out on this year's budget?
We're always having to kind of do catch up. He never comes until after we've begun the new year. But that is something that if Mr. Holler is able to get here, he's got a tentative appointment with me in September. I wanted him to teach me how to do budget adjustments during the calendar year so that when I begin to detect that an account is going way over budget, rather than letting it just show that it's over budget, there's a method where the city council, of course, would have to authorize it, but we would do a budget adjustment and bring that account back into line. I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm hoping that I'll be taught. But it's going to take a CPA to instruct me on that. And Mr. Holler is the most affordable CPA I've come across.
Okay. All right, but like we're directing him. Are we in all agreement that we're directing him to get the new body
yeah,
cams?
I mean, we need.
And
I mean,
on this current year's budget?
Yeah, well, there's not going to be a problem with that. The thing is, Mr. Ray, as an auditor, it's ethically prohibited for him to act as a CPA to advise me on how I ought to arrange the books. He only comes through and audits them afterwards and makes audit adjustments to those books to bring everything into line. That's the way, as far as I can tell, the way that this city has always operated, but I'd like us to evolve to where we're making our own budget adjustments during the year and responding in time. We'll get there.
This money too.
Save us
Please,
money,
account.
just like it does on.
Okay, thank you, Dan. On the body cameras though, if we're gonna go ahead and we wanna leave that at 3,000 then, since he's gonna go ahead and, or do you think
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for
There's-
the coming budget,
because we're gonna go ahead and spend the 8,500 now. So, maybe that, you said there might be $179. Is that once a year for each one for the warranty?
I bet you
It's
pay it.
2
up
years.
you pay it
Yeah,
all
right.
up
For-
front.
So, okay, so I think the 3,000 would be great, especially if he's gonna buy those in this calendar.
And that's the capital outlay.
Yes,
I'll get around to tomorrow. Just on the phone today with them going, I don't know. I think we're gonna need some new stuff. All right.
And then miscellaneous expense, I mean, all we can do is look at what's budgeted. We're real close, but there again, we're not for sure what that is. So does that look okay to y'all?
Yes.
Okay.
It's for what we don't see coming.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
So we're gonna
What-
leave it at 5.
How soon are we gonna do that City Hall, Police Department deal behind there? I mean, like, the reason I'm saying is because the Tahoes, when it rained, hail and all that stuff, it's damaging the Tahoes.
Mhm.
I mean, it'd be nice if they, like a shed back there.
Oh, I agree.
to have that under a shed.
And now that we own that, we can get that alley closed if we want to, just halfway.
Yeah, go
Have
go
that
ahead, already
alley
have it planned
closed,
already.
And they could actually not even
Set up.
park, just kind of have it right at the
Yeah.
back of the police
I mean, I
station.
think because that passed by there and they're just all like that, and when it rain, hail, and stuff like that, we could just turn it up more and more.
Our city employees.
You can just go see Brian Fleming and get those carports. I bought a pretty nice one for I parked 2 pickups under it. Cost me $2,400 and it's anchored down. It's nice.
Well, that might be, and then they're
It's
not
not a
I mean-
bad
permanent,
idea.
and then they're not.
And
permanent.
then when we do build something, they can be moved, move them over and give them to Renee or something.
Yeah,
Because I know like the city yard, I mean, they built something, but it's not even done yet. And that was to
You're
put
right.
their equipment in. So I don't know, just sitting there, that's not even,
Do we want to put that on capital outlay then? Go ahead and put another, or do we, there again, Cindy, can he go ahead and do it?
I would
Because our
think-
budget.
I would think buying this.
we can get it.
I mean,
done.
don't turn to park, yeah, 7,500. I figured 2,500,
Okay,
just,
yeah,
you know, 7,500,
I say,
yeah. And try to get a bargain because you're buying 3. You know, there's those places all, like I said, Brian Fleming. We need to trade with him and say, hey, since I'm buying 3, give me
So three consists of 1 for each vehicle or
3,
double.
2.
a double?
double.
A
2 for
double,
6?
that's what, he said he paid about 2,400 for it,
A
to
double.
park 2 pickups. So if
And
we
let's-
got 3 of them,
let's go ahead and say, I mean, I thought a while ago when you were talking fence, I mean, let's see what it would cost to fence that stuff in. You know, I mean, when they are parked, they're not taking those home, right?
No.
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 So, you know, I mean, what do y'all think?
Yes, that's
They
always
just
made
need to
me
do something
cringe.
because they
do
just
you?
wear and
I mean,
tear and just park out
Is
there,
there
some beating the
problems? I mean,
tires,
have you
stuff like
had
that.
Since you've been here? I mean,
As far
People
as
like
messing
messing
with
around with the police cars or anything.
not as- we have been watched. We have been, honestly, some people have been watching us that have been driving by and we've been watching them and they're watching us. I think there's people wanting to know what we're doing. Being nosy or whatever.
Is
Some
it-
people- I'm not sure.
Is it my sister?
No. We know who it is and it's not anybody that's related here.
Because my sister took, my
Did make you-
sister took, you know my sister? Tanya Falkenberry.
Oh, yes, yes.
She's a school teacher. She has took over the job for Judge Townsend and Karen. You remember? You remember Max and Karen used to drive around? And Tanya can tell you anything long enough. She drives around. Well, that's her peacetime, she says, and she'll drive around. She, did you know so-and-so? How'd you know that? Well, I was just driving.
I bumped into her. She told me she was your sister.
Uh-oh.
So what do we have under debt retirement? What is that consist of?
I have
Is
that
that the
we fixed
vehicles?
the 2 Tahoes. And we didn't get those through the full year. So Dan, can you tell us what the payments are on those 2 Tahoes so we can make sure we're budgeted?
Yes, ma'am. That is the correct figure. The payments for both of those is $16.99 and change per month. Comes out to $20,388, rounded up to $21,000.
Okay, thank you.
So that's gonna work. You want-
So police housing, we don't do that. We don't have anything there.
Interest expense, I don't know why that was ever there.
Animal, no wait, technology.
Technology, that's kind of odd how we used 18,000.
There's me and Dan both.
Oh, y'all figured it out?
We figured out what that was. What we did was, for some reason, I'm not sure, guys, it's been really an adventure in catching up. We've had like 3 other administrators prior to me in close close proximity.
Close proximity.
And we did a lot of the same things, and some of them did some different things than I did. Anyway, so one of the things, some of the things were not taken care of. There was actually a handful of things that I've taken care of. I fixed up a lot of things. One of the things that me and Dan noticed was last year the CopSync bill, it has a yearly price tag with it to continue using it, and it wasn't paid. So it was something that was overlooked. The department was billed. I don't think the city secretary, I don't think they knew about it. But when we got everybody CJIS certified, and when I started going through the meeting with the CoLogic folks with CopSync, we figured out that it didn't
So-
get paid. So it was a double
The
whammy.
bill came and was brought to one of these
2 years.
attention.
75. Was it 7,500 for those bills, roughly?
Yeah, it was quite a bit. What had happened on that is it was a company called CopSync. CopSync changed or was acquired by CoLogic. When CoLogic acquired CopSync, it was actually CoLogic that neglected to invoice us.
Oh, so it
And
was-
when they discovered it, of course, we were in arrears for a couple of years. And that shouldn't be another occurrence. It's sort of similar to what happened to us this same year with Encode. You recall how they had
Yeah.
neglected to invoice us for several years until I had to go around and ask them, how do we pay you? And woke them up. So,
And can I ask, is this something that the police department and Calvin split?
no, what happened originally when the CopSync system was first acquired, it was billed out of the municipal court's budget for some reason. I don't know why, but the municipal court paid out of their technology fund. You know, that segregated fund that they put money into every month. It never should have been used for the police. That's controlled by the comptroller. And that was an illegal purchase, if you want to look at it that way. But it's been years ago enough that I don't think we're going to get in trouble for it. But we did have to change that and then move that to the police budget.
Okay.
So do we want to leave the technology at 11.5?
The CopSync was going to cost 70, close to 7,500 every year to maintain
And
it.
then that other
It's
is,
a little extra in case we have to upgrade or anything breaks technology-wise, or we need to buy a little computer tower or monitor.
did y'all buy new, did someone buy some new computers in the last year?
Not that I've seen here lately.
Yes. Not we know does.
We're getting close. I was going to tell you next year, we'll probably, some of this right here, all left over is going to buy Vivian a new computer because she's having problems with it. And me and Dan just opened it up for her. It was the one that was Barbie was using before. And we got her up and running in that computer.
I'll tell you someone that Mike could help you. And Dan, you back me up on this. That Brad Townsend.
Oh. No, I wouldn't think, Brad is not that kind of a technician. Brad's a software guy. He knows how to use computers, but it's a different discipline. I've already looked at that. And we're having problems. I had a guy that takes care of the computers for Seminole that would come down part-time and do that kind of troubleshooting for us and do the hardware kind of work. His father had a stroke though, and he's no longer available. I've tried recruiting or hiring somebody from one of the the computer companies like Geek Squad, that kind of thing out of Best Buy. They are not coming out during this pandemic. They will not make calls. So we're kind of just waiting for this to end. Getting that kind of person to come on site is going to be very difficult.
We might just have to start with something new.
So we're gonna leave the technology at 11,500. And animal control expense,
Now let's talk about
yes.
because, you know, we didn't tell them that we had budgeted, you know, 3,600 for Amber Reed. So can anybody tell us what this $5,900 is?
I believe that was for the other dog catcher to go to school.
And
looked
for,
into that.
and to pay Sandy while she came over.
Oh,
Yes.
probably.
Is that right, Dan?
That's right. Paying Sandy as a contractor and paying Liz, was that her name?
I think so.
It was our animal control officer so briefly from Tahoka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So we will leave that at 3,500? Because that's just basic stuff. I mean.
yeah, that shouldn't repeat. Last year was kind of a expensive year for that kind of thing.
I mean, this should be like for the dog pound, dog food. and stuff
Dog
like
food,
that.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Where's that Reeves, right? Where's the Amber's
It's
money
in,
at?
it's in the
Administrative.
administrative.
And I've gotten on the phone with her and Ladora, and we've all worked that all out. So we're
Good.
good.
She's a sweetheart. I
That is
promise.
great.
She has saved this city so much money in the last 3 years. It's unbelievable.
She's already, I mean, she's saving these animals that we would be putting down. And there's
Well,
a
she
lot.
was meeting the airplane yesterday, Sunday morning, wasn't it? At 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right, Ladora and her were making appointments to her pick these animals up before Ladora. She went on a family reunion. That's where
Yes.
she's at right now.
Yeah.
And Ladora picked up extra weekends to work so I could give her the time off because she doesn't have any vacation
Yeah.
yet. So, but I wanted her to go.
But,
She's been working on.
Amber will bend over backwards
Oh, yeah.
for dogs.
If I may, while we're talking about this, I neglected to get this on the agenda for the meeting we had yesterday.
I thought about that. I saw that resolution.
Yeah. I did
Yeah,
too.
there is a resolution, and once you do enact it, there's no big rush on it. We can do it at our next regular session. But I'd like to pencil in a general ledger account now and fund that for $3,600 and call it vaccinations.
Okay.
On mine, Dan?
Yes,
Or-
it would be on yours.
Oh, it needs to be in yes, okay.
Yeah.
The vaccinations.
Is it the ACC?
Uh-huh.
And put that money there.
And what are,
You said 3,600, Dan?
Yes, that's the amount that they had, that last year they had allocated to that fund. Now, you
And
can
Amber-
use that if you think you might need to, but since this is the first year we're gonna fly it, we'll learn as we go, I guess.
And I told Amber, like, I mean, if she just has 200 spent in July, then she still has another 100. She can, I mean, we said 300 a month, but that's $3,600
She can carry over.
she can carry out. And she needs
if
it
she spends 500 the next month, let's pay it till we.
till we run out of money.
There you
We
go.
run out of 3,600.
Okay, police weapons, this is something new.
Yes, yes. Y'all want to hear about this? Or?
Yeah, I heard a little bit, but go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we have all of us that are now employed in full-time police officers in the department are carrying our own personal weapons. And I carry a 45. Civ carries a 40 caliber. Baronis carries a 9mm. Joe carries a 45 caliber, and Trevino also carries a 40 caliber. We're all carrying different calibers and different types of weapons, and these are our own personal weapons. And one of the things that is problematic with that is unfortunately, and I hate to say it in our line of work, if we do get into something where we have to defend ourselves or the public and we use our weapons, they're gone. We're not going to see them.
Yeah.
So the
They're
cops
gonna
literally going to have to go buy
confiscate.
another gun because they're going to
Yeah.
take it as evidence. The other thing is uniformity. Most police departments, it's a good idea to issue standard weapons by the police department from the city for a number of reasons. In the field working, and if the gun is confiscated, unfortunately, if that event ever happens, which I sure hope it don't, they can revert back to their own personal weapon until they get our city weapon.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thinking on that.
I honestly did not know that
I know.
I didn't
was
either. 'Cause I was always
I thought
worried
you-
about where they turned it back in.
Turn
Yeah,
it
that's
back
what I
in.
thought too.
I just assumed they did belong to us. So, yes, that,
And that's enough to buy.
I have talked to several gun dealers that I know personally and also Vaughn. Basically, for each unit, it's budgeted for about $1,000 for each officer. And that is providing us with the weapon. That's providing with the holster, magazines that go with it, and the magazine holders that go on our duty belts. That should 1,000 per unit per officer. That should be well within. It's going to
Are
probably be
you
around
going
850
to-
to 900 bucks.
are you going to let them choose their weapon of choice?
No, ma'am. I'm going to choose a weapon from a reputable company like Springfield Armory.
But I mean, they're all gonna be alike.
Exactly the same.
So will there be much difference in their learning how to use the weapons? I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
will they need to practice?
Yes, ma'am.
with their-
We'll have to qualify with the weapon, just like they qualified with all of them this year with me. And I also broke out the AR-15s and inspected them. I'm an AR-15 armorer. I went through them. Our department issued AR-15s that we have, and they all passed inspection. And we went out and I trained them how to use them, and I qualified on them here about 2 weeks ago. So they're qualified to carry that, and they are being carried in the police units while they're on duty and patrol. So they have a rifle, something a little heavier to go to in case they should need it. So
Are those carried in the vehicle?
when they're on duty, yes. Otherwise, they're in gun bags, so they total them, so to speak. So I think maybe they've been left once or twice, and I was like, guys, let's move this in vehicles. So we're good with that. And it's the same thing with the AR-15s, training everybody how to use them. We'll do the same thing since I'm a firearms instructor, a certified firearms instructor. We'll get these new weapons, we'll go through them, make sure they're in good condition, and we'll go out to the firing range and we'll all learn.
Do they have to be like, I know you said the guys have to be, or the patrolmen have to be certified. Do they have to be certified every so often?
Every year, all officers have to
All,
qualify.
I mean,
including me.
guns itself, the actual gun, does it have to be inspected and pass an inspection?
Yes,
Okay,
by me, yes.
oh, by you, because it's what you do.
That saves a lot of money anyways, because, I
Mhm.
mean, you have to go somewhere and pay instructor to show them, then you have to pay
Well,
them. So
and you
that's
sure
good
don't
that,
want your gun not working.
And having the same ammunition, you don't have to buy different types, it probably saves money too.
Standardizing the ammunition and the weapon is just all the way
Well,
around.
is, you said gun dealers, is there not like, bless you, Dan has helped us a lot with this government thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we're gonna get a law enforcement government purchase
Okay,
from a
okay.
reputable. They work some good deals for government purchases, law enforcement, military, they get some good deals for us. These guns that we're gonna get are probably gonna cost anywhere from $750 to $850. So we can get some good discount on firearm purchase, and it's, of course,
Dan, I have a question on the COVID-19 money that we got, the 31,000 or something. Has that money been used?
No, ma'am. I found out that all police overtime could be charged to it. That was a ruling that the Attorney General wrote an opinion on and allows it. That plus everything that we bought as far as PPE and cleaning and all of that. So far, I believe we're at about $26,000 of chargeable expenses. So we got a ways to go to exhaust that 32,000, I believe it was. That's the initial drawdown. Our actual allocation is more about $150-some thousand, which after we exhaust the initial drawdown, 32,000, then we can begin to submit for reimbursement against that other $120,000 that's out there for us right now. So we've got quite a bit of that money left. We'll have to be a lot more careful, and we'll have to get permission before we spend anything past the 32,000.
Deborah, on that, I didn't even know about that part. I guess I missed it. But, I mean, can we split some of that with the EMS and the fire department?
They have their own.
Oh, they have their own,
I
okay,
understood
yes.
that. That's why I was asking how much.
okay, I didn't know that.
Dan,
Okay.
did you ever find out if, some of the first cases we had there, the people were out quite a bit of money, $200, $300, $400 for testing? And there could be others. Did we find out if we could reimburse them with the proper documentation on that?
No, that wouldn't be an allowable expense. That's been investigated.
Okay. All right, I just wondered.
I honestly don't understand why testing isn't just covered by the state, the feds. Somebody, it seems, should just be picking that tab up, but they don't.
So our materials and supplies that each department uses, the reason I was asking how much, can we not divvy that out to the different departments?
We are. Renee, when she buys like hand sanitizers and that kind of thing, I account for that through that fund.
So Rick knows that too, where he can, okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well this, do we want to?
Right.
So we're leaving the weapon at 5 and ammunition at 2?
Yes, and then we've added
Added
that
the
vaccinations
vaccinations.
at 3,600. And just to, everybody kind of make your own notes, but so we'll know next year that debt retirement is the payments on the 2 Tahoes. And then under capital outlay, it is gonna be the body cameras. You know, every year we wonder, okay, why did we set that? So everybody will kind
Yeah, make a little note.
of, yes,
Okay.
What was the top one?
go ahead.
I just,
Capital, I mean, debt
one other
retirement.
little small comment. I guess I'm not seeing it here. I don't know. Dan made me talked about it, and I'm not sure. I may have missed it, but one of the things that I was wanting to do for the guys and gals and everybody, and I know this is we have some people who just started with us, but I wanted to show my appreciation for the staff and everybody, and I wanted all of us across the board to get a 3% raise.
That is written into that figure, Rick.
Yeah, I just wanted to verify that and
Yeah.
make sure that.
I think I figured it a while ago when I did the 271, 360. That would be, I get 279, 500.
That's why I was wondering if these 43.6, if that's his.
That's what I was wondering too.
Because we had it set.
Because even at the current budget, 263,
Can you add these up and see if that is the two?
I got it right. Okay. Oh, okay. That's just 270. So that would be pretty close. 263. That's our budget. And you just requested 256. So where did you get your 256? Nah.
That was, I guess, with the year to date and everything that was what we're
Okay.
looking at.
Because when we did what Dan gave us and total and added in and all, that's 271, 360.
271, 360.
Yeah, their base salary. That's, that's where we,
Might have been before Surge came on.
I think so. I think there's a possibility because we
that may
discussed
be,
it.
that may be. Because, the 263 times 3% is 270,890. They're at, but that doesn't give them a raise.
But, well, it does if we go by what we budgeted last year, because that even includes that 9,600 that we added.
Oh,
It equals the 263,000, these, what we were showing last year. So,
but if they're making 271, 360, to actually literally give them a raise, they would be at 279, 500.
but that's what I'm saying, But
Well, just
we
blurt it out.
had Jefferson at 40,000. That is who
Okay.
Resendez took the place of. He was at, and we moved him up from, let me go ahead, Mendoza, 38,000, Resendez, 38,000. We can take Jefferson off and know that we we did give Resendez a raise, and that was from Dunstra. And then Daisy has stayed at the 38. The secretary has stayed the same. Now, the dog catcher went down from 36,750, what we were paying Sandy,
And what
to
was?
31,000. Barbie was the 19,500. That's what we budgeted last year, was the 52.5 for the chief.
What does those total up? Is that what you mean?
Yes, that goes up to 263. I did it.
It comes up to the 263?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but
So with these
to
figures
get a three,
that
to
where they're
literally
at,
give them a 3% raise, that's not even what they're making now. That's. And there's, am I making?
yeah, I mean, I just didn't know that they,
We don't know where these numbers came from.
right. I mean, how they got to be where they're
It
at.
sounds like there was some changes.
Let me ask you a question. Dan, is the overtime included in this and in this annual income that we're showing on our salaries?
No, I don't believe so. That's, this is, I just pulled a report called the annual salary report, and it just lists the base salary for each employee in the city. So no, I don't think that overtime is figured into that.
So my problem is that we still have Daisy at 38.
You know, if you'll allow me tomorrow when I've got a little more time, I'll go through the records one by one and make sure of my figures, and then I'll send that to you, Deborah, a breakdown, and you can communicate that with everybody, and then you'll really know.
Can you also put the month of when it was increased on each?
Yeah, I can, there's a feature, it's called the history report. And every time that there is a raise, there's a notation like an annual salary adjustment or a merit raise or whatever. And that goes back through the whole history of each employee. It'll just take a little time. Tomorrow I'll work on it and I'll get you those figures. I can share those with everybody. I'll just send you all that information, okay?
Okay,
All right.
that would help us.
Hey, Chief, I mean, I don't know, council, is the raise for everybody on staff or they've been there longer?
For all seven of us. Everybody's pulled together as a team. Everybody is pulled together to do their job and make this work. And I really appreciate everybody. And it's my way of showing some gratitude. Maybe putting a smile on their face, telling, hey, we just got a cost of living increase, so smile. Things are good.
If I put, you know, when I do the 271, 360, and at 3%, that's 279,500. So if I just plug in 280,000 in with everything that we've done here, that total is 526,400. And so now, and you have to know that there's several things added new. You know, those bottom is over $10,000. And last year our budget was 590,000. And we spent 427 and still got about 45. That's at $85,000. So that's an increase. In not quite 3%, for the whole everything.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm not, you know, y'all know me, I'm just gonna say what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
But if, let's say we showed Mendoza at getting 38,000, that's what we budgeted last year. And if he is making 43, he got more than a 3% this year. Is that right? 38 times 3.
And like you say, I'd like to know when that
Right, when
increase.
it's, so I hate, you know, we can't give them a 3% raise in the end of the year and then give them another 3% raise at budget time.
So
That's,
you're saying rescind this
I am, because the 63,000 we showed them
at 30,
and Mendoza.
at
Mendoza,
38,000.
yes, Resendez is at 45, 760 now. Is that what y'all have?
Yeah, that's what he told us.
And when you say 38,000, he got a $7,760.
Oh, yeah, he got like 15 or. Actually, 20%, but
And so it's the same thing with
sometime.
Mendoza.
Some time ago before I was here.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And that's why I'm saying, you wouldn't know, you wouldn't have
It's not
seen
your
that.
fault, and
Right.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm playing catch up for the last few
Yeah.
months. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
aware.
So, but when we did the budget, we were told that's their salary. And somewhere in between
Somebody
Grunstrom and you,
before you.
I'll send this to you guys. I'm looking at Officer Mendoza's rate log. It commences March of 2016. And each raise, and as a matter of fact, there's a rehire where he went from $25 an hour to $16 an hour. And then new calculations, and then there's a notation correction for Chief Grunstrom. See, I can't read the rest of it. New calculations, council approved raises in 2019. Adjust to council approved raise, and then a new calculation. Then retro correction to council approved raise. This is going to take some research, but that's the kind of stuff that's notated in their rate log, at least for Officer Mendoza. Wasn't he acting police chief for a while?
No.
No.
No?
No,
and he was really considered part-time.
he was just kind of a lead, but we never did give him a label as a relief chief.
None of these.
Well, just get us those numbers and we can
Yeah, I
finalize.
will. I'll get you that kind of detail on each one. In fact, I'll go ahead and take screenshots of that. And then there's also notations in their file. And I'm sure that in the police department files, because they do maintain different personnel files than I do here because they're police. So I've got stuff related to when they got raises and that kind of stuff. But as far as performance reviews and that, I have nothing. So that should hopefully be notated there, what the thinking was behind Chief Grunstrom's wanting that adjustment made, for example.
Thank you. Is there anything else?
I guess so. So as far as right now, as far as what we're discussing, 3% raise, we're going to hold off on that, or?
Well, yeah, what we've been doing in the past, just to give you a little background, when pretty much when Deborah was here, us three, when we came on all at the same time, the prior mayor was doing all the budget himself. And he was just coming up with stuff, and the council, he just said, this is the budget, and y'all approve it. Right.
Yes, that's exactly.
And if Deborah
Charles.
tried to, yeah, Charles was on there too. If Deborah or someone tried to question anything, boy, he just chopped them off. Yeah, this way to do it. He did it all. And he has no vote. The mayor does not get to vote. But when we started this, we do it like this. We want to know what everybody's doing. We want to know what's been spent. And the prior city secretary and stuff, they couldn't tell you stuff like Dan tells you.
Right.
We would ask them questions before we even got on the council. You could ask them questions in a meeting and they couldn't tell you nothing.
So basically, it's Mr. Mendoza or Officer Mendoza and Officer Resendez both had several, or looks like.
They've had some increases
increases.
since this time last year.
So as far as Vivian, Ladora, me, and Trevino and Briones, is there a way we could 3% raise us? And if there's any squabble over it, I can clearly line it out for them. I said, you guys.
Well,
got-
yes,
you
once
guys
we
got
have the
fair enough raise
documentation.
enough, so.
Yeah,
We'll sure look at it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not finalizing anything. tonight,
No.
Right.
So,
we kind of do save the payroll for last.
So Rick, when you did your figuring and everything, so you took your 52.5 and you get a 3%. What did you come up with on Mendoza? What did you use as his base to come up with?
His actual income between me and Dan, we were working on that as far as his actual income. We were still working on
Oh, okay,
that. That was the thing.
All right.
As far as all of the officers and stuff, we figured that most of them were at 19, and it looks like as far as Briones, Trevino, and we knew Ladora was making, I think she said 31. And but she did tell me that the other lady was making 36.
Yes.
And I told her if she goes to school, we'd look at increasing her pay immediately for
Yes.
getting certified to do what she's doing.
Is there any schools being offered?
Yes, and she's looking at the fall for one. She also, believe it or not, wants to go to peace officer school. And I told her I would sponsor her. If she wants to do that, I said, yeah, you've got my blessing if you want to go, if you're wanting to do that. Anyway, other than that, guys, as far as the final numbers, you guys will look at it. Me and Dan will look at it. I can figure out if we've had significant raises with Officer Resendez and Mendoza. Then of course, if Briones, Trevino, and me and Ladora and Vivian.
I would like to see Daisy Briones moved up.
Yep.
too,
As far as what me and Dan are saying and
Because of
looking at,
this other guy being brought in.
Can I ask how long has Trevino been here?
he trained all through the month of July. At the very beginning of July is when he came in and we swore him in and got him up and running and trained. And this is just a month and a half.
Is Daisy at a level that you're comfortable with?
Yes, I am very.
Okay.
She is receiving training from me. That's why I
Because she was neglected.
agreed. She was, and there were some internal problems that I came into that were starting to surface after my first couple of months there, and we all sat down and worked it out. And some officers were pulled aside in council. I mean, we took care of it. Everything's running fine, and I'm really impressed with Briones' her reports and her overall. She still needs a lot of guidance, and she needs some leadership, and I'm helping her with that. It's the reason that we don't have at this time any other leadership in the department, because it's going to confuse if we get somebody else that's underneath me right now. Maybe in the future we'll discuss maybe a second hand or a second for me, but for right now, we get it only from me right now until we get a firm, stable foundation of how we're going to do business.
I just want you to know, Rick, I've been very pleased with how things, I do not hear anything negative, and I just want you to know that.
Me too.
So I'm very pleased with
I
the
hope
way
that when
things.
school starts that you can, go up there and see if they need anything, some kind of programs.
Right. I've spoke with them and
Oh, you have?
the principal, Mr. Sellers,
Okay.
which is Dalen.
Daily.
Dalen Sellers, yeah, talked to him.
Has he been real receptive to everything?
We're still working on it.
Okay,
We're
I
still-
just kind of, that's why.
Yeah, we're still working.
Okay. How has it been with the county? You said you were working with the DA. That was great to hear. Is that all going?
Stacy and Philip Mack's office personnel, Stacy, there's a Mike, I believe, and there's
Judd,
Joe Nate?
Joe
no,
Nagy?
the girl
No.
lives in the
Jessica.
trainer house.
I think
Jessica.
Jessica.
Oh, Jessica.
They have been all helping me out, and we're all communicating with each other. I spoke to Stacy today, as a matter of fact. We're looking at some things, and I'm fixing to turn a felony case that Officer Briones is working on. I'm kind of training her on, helping her on that. And Joe Nagy, believe it or not, has picked up one of our cases, which is something that is not common. So
No.
it was nice to hear that he picked up one of our officers. He called me up and said, "Hey, I got this guy. I want him." I'm like, "Let's do this."
Okay.
So things are doing good with me and the county attorneys and the district attorney's office. And this has been, I'm not gonna lie to you, this has been a lot of catch up from the last administrators. Thank you for the attaboy, I appreciate that. It's been a good venture, a good adventure. But it's all getting handled, and I think that, as I stay here, and I'm looking to stay here, I think as a whole, I look forward to building the police department being extremely professional.
And your evidence room?
Yeah, the evidence room is taken care of, and the other one we busted the lock and looked into it. Me and the mayor and Judge Sellers here. I've kind of had to put that on the back burner. It's not, but I've already destroyed some evidence to show you guys, hey, I can do this. It's not a problem, and it's been fully organized, so it's been taken care of on that issue. I went to go, this was so funny. It had to be organized because I had stuff that go destroy, and I went to go look for it. And I'm like, I can't find this stuff. So I had to put that aside and then reorganize and catalog everything, and then come back. And I said, okay, let's try this again. This case number, and I looked at it. And I put it computerized. I also put it on a clipboard. And I'm like, well, here it is right here. And I went and found it and pulled this stuff, and so it made it all work like it's supposed to be working. So, yes. But the several attempts that I saw, I mean, if I may say, were I was like, oh God. So that was
That sounds
Nice to
kind
have
of-
that behind.
that kind of sounds like when I get in my office and start to rework.
Well, Chief, I mean, my part, you're doing a good job. It's like you're catching up, you know, past like that. That's the same thing we're doing right now from the past. We're correcting
just
everything. We're still
now
working on our budget. How
getting
mistake from the
comfortable.
past, the previous administration made and all that. We're working, we're learning. I appreciate what you're doing, and I mean, any negativity, then let us know. Man. I mean, we're eyes and
When
open
we come
ears and
on.
everything, man. So
thank you. I appreciate that. That means a
When
lot.
we come on, our city is writing hot checks.
They had $580 in the bank that did not get paid.
We can do payroll.
That's
it's just
for
And
you 3 years.
we've come a long way, haven't we, Dan and Charles?
Yep,
Got that right.
that's the truth.
We don't know how, but we changed the people that could get to the money and the lock to the door. And somehow or another, money just started appearing
In 1 year.
in 1 year.
in 1 year.
About $500,000. Our bills are caught up. We can go buy stuff we need.
We can do stuff what you're asking for.
Yeah.
Right. I was curious, and I know I'm fairly new here.
And when we started, we didn't know what in the world it scared us to death. All we knew was we had heard that, I mean, one month, there was like $2,000 or $3,000 worth of hot check fees. And the questions, when you would ask them, it's like, well, we don't know.
Yep, well, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do.
So we've all come a long way, and so we know what, and then we know what has happened the last several.
And as we finalize this, Dan, what he does, he gets a printout before we vote. You get to look back
Yeah.
over it and everything, you know, right where we're at on everything. And so, but we're doing each individual department, and it doesn't really get comprised together until we get everybody's done.
Great.
We don't get an actual, what looks like this. Yeah. And with, you know, all this stuff on, so.
Run the numbers.
Okay, well, we won't take up any more of your time, and we appreciate it. If you have any questions, let us know.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Need anything?
Have a good night.
I'm gonna try.
Maybe things will be quiet.
Hopefully. You guys have a
Who
good
is our
evening.
guy? Oh, you say you rotate now?
Yes, the Trevino is working nights right now. And every month we rotate the officers from days to nights, nights to days. Everybody gets a chance to work, except for Daisy, because her family situation dictates that she work nights, so she's home with her kids during the day, so her husband can go work. So everybody's fine with that.
So she works every night.
Well,
Daisy's, with the days she works at night.
she works at night.
Okay,
No problem with that. Everybody's fine with that.
that's all right.
It was
Yeah, that would work out, like you said.
the schedule's working out good too, so they get some.
I
time
met
to
her
get-
husband. She adopted one of our dogs back during the very beginning of all this COVID stuff. And I picked the dog up. But Amber had took over there and got spayed and neutered, and we thought we had it adopted, and then the guy backed out. And she said, well, I'd like to have the dog. So I said, okay. And so I ended up driving it all the way to Denver City
We're doing the
to
administrative.
get it. So,
Right. Well, thank you for your time, guys.
All right, Chief.
Thank you.
thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Stay safe.
Okay, Dan, we're on administration.
right.
Um, We'll just, if it's okay, we'll go item to item again. hopefully.
Yeah, that's fine.
So again, the salary, can you break yours down and Angie's down?
Yeah, this figure indicates, I believe, a 3% increase, but let me get you those.
what is y'all's this year?
My
Water-
salary this year is $49,800. And Angie is $39,260.
Maybe 39.2 or
39,260, according to this report that I pulled. Once again, let me pull this up individually and see if that agrees with what,
I was just looking at the current budget we have at 89,000, so the 49.8 and 39.2 would be the 89,000.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so-
49,749.96 is my annual salary. And Angie, Angie is 39,260.
And so you're asking for 3% and then that increases that up. I didn't know if you had your figures in front
I
of you.
think I did. I think I figured a 3% in that 91,670.
Which is how much?
3% of the 89.
And there again, I understand you're gonna need to look at the total budget. And
Did he get one last year? Did we get two last year?
So the 49.8 or 3%.
51,300.
50. I'd round up. 51.
And hers would be. Okay. And that equals the 91, 8,
We
91.
kind of rounded it up.
Okay,
So the 91,670.
okay, so this is 19 to 20. Okay. So y'all just want to go down and pencil in like we just did and go over what, okay. So we're showing the
Postage. Well, no,
no overtime, so postage and supplies, we've spent 7,600.
yeah, the administrative department pays the postage for the utility billing. I wonder about that, but we do. And that's really the bulk of that. Although that's also office supplies, that's things like paper, toner, all that kind of stuff that we use in the office. And I was just going by last year's budget and what we'd spend this, year to date. It seems a reasonable figure.
yes, it does.
Yes. And telephone, the 2,500 looks good. If anyone wants to change anything, y'all speak up. We're just gonna go
Well,
by
if you
them.
do 2327 divided by 10, 12, that's gonna be like 2792. So you wanna bump that up to 2,800 or 3,000?
What do y'all think? 28?
Pretty close to that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know.
Utilities, we've spent 2,800. Gosh, what would, okay, that would just be us all. 4,700, and I'm sure you've just done that times 12 is what you've done.
Yeah, basically, what I did is, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it. I looked back the several years' actual figures and then what was budgeted. And then like Cindy just did, I'd divide that by 10 and then extrapolate that with a couple more months to come up with a figure. That seems an adequate way to do it.
Times 12 is 3,400. I bet we could do it.
Four. Then we're looking at that, at dropping it down to 4,000.
Yeah,
And that-
probably we'd be all right to do that.
Okay, and then we have service contracts.
Yeah, I know, I see 65,005. I don't know. I did an analysis of that account just before we started here. 25,000 is probably what I meant to put there.
Okay. All right.
That looks good. Let's see, 23.
And refresh our memory, what is that for?
Well, in code, about $7,000 a year for that. Also, what comes out of that is Planet Technologies. Planet Technologies pays for our software suite. That's all of our phone systems and all of that. And global credit cards, that's the credit card fees that we pay for people to pay use their credit cards online and in the office.
If you divide the 23,345 by 10 times,
Well, this particular year, Alderman, we got hit with that double whammy on Encode where we had to pay them, you know, that won't repeat.
okay, so 25 will probably be good.
Building repairs, 2,000.
Already spent 21.
We spent a lot this year, but that's also the modifications that were made to the building in response to the pandemic. That won't repeat either.
Can that not be used up, that 31,000?
It is going to be reimbursed to us, but that's where the figure that you're seeing comes out of. I have to charge it to one of the existing accounts, but we'll be, you know, it's actually part of that. I'm costing it against COVID.
Okay, so automobile and equipment, 0. Radio repair, 0. Travel expense, the 2,500. We wanted, well, we used 31 the year before.
Yeah, there would have been more travel expense this year had not the pandemic hit.
Okay, so we'll leave that.
Yeah, I believe so. Hopefully. I'm hoping that we'll be traveling again soon.
Advertising and printing, we've used 4,500. Is there a reason why you dropped it down to 2,000?
Well, advertising and printing was quite a bit of that was the newsletter. I mean, the mailings that we did to the city. There's been 3 of them so far this year for like the weed letters is what I call it. That kind of thing. Now that we've got a working website, if we can draw people to go to the website, that's going to be a way more effective way to get word like that out to people. The website, the way it's built now, if we can just get onto social media, because I know that's what everybody does, and just spread the word that way through Facebook or whatever, TikTok or whatever they call it, that just go to the website and you can find your answers, and they will be able to, including like the mayor's letter to the city once in a while or current events. The rate increase is posted on the website right now, and there's a button that says important update, read this, you know.
I guess my thinking is on that is that I do want the weed letters to keep going out. You know, I'm hoping that Renee is able to look at like we have right now, the demolition of the houses and the things that we talked about last night.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, is that in her budget when she does that?
Yeah, she does quite a bit of printing. I mean, she's got her quarterly reports. Those are water quality reports, and all that postage comes out of hers. Her postage is higher than ours for utility billing because ours is zip code organized, and hers is closer to paying, you know, prime postage for it. I think she pays 37 cents a piece, whereas we pay 28 cents a piece for the utility bills.
So when we've spent 4,500, you think the 2,000 is enough?
Yeah, I do. Historically, that's been enough. You maybe raise it, let's split the difference and call it 3,000 then.
Okay. Because I do want the letters to keep going out with the weed control, and if that's coming out of yours, I want it, you know, because we've got to
I
make
think
it.
if we coordinate, well, it's hard to say. I've got a theory on that. Why we have had so little blowback on the rate increase so far. I think that's because people in town got the first weed letter that scared them. There was a lot of activity. Everybody was out there cutting weeds, hiring people to cut their weeds, cleaning up, getting ready for it. Then there just was no follow-up. Then we sent a second weed letter out and there was no follow-up and very little response. And I think when they got the most recent letter, they just tossed it. They figured, it's just another letter from the city, doesn't mean anything, and it went straight out. That's my theory.
Cleaning supplies, I think the 550 is good. Everybody okay with that?
Mhm.
How about we just do it to 500? Drop it to 500. And then dues and membership, we've spent 7,800 and the 12,000. And I guess you did that off of the past history, Dan?
That's the dues and memberships that are on the administrative are like memberships to TML, memberships to the Lower Colorado River Authority, memberships to the Permian Basin Regional Planning Committee, South Plains Association of Governments. We also contribute to the South Plains Health District every month. So there's quite a few that we're accounting for.
When you divide the 78, by 2 times it by 12, it's 94.65.
What do you think, Ruth?
Well, we haven't.
What is it?
She was saying on the dues and membership,
The other years it hasn't.
it has been about 12,000.
Yeah. Everybody just.
Okay,
Yeah, I think so.
okay.
When I was just comparing that.
The professional fees, looks like we've spent every bit of that, 36,000. Hopefully we won't have as much this next year. Election expense, we do know that it's at least $10,000 every year, so that's,
It will be, yes.
Talking about that, can we stop a minute? Our
Yes.
November election, is that gonna be the seat of Shannon's? Was that the only seat it was?
Yeah. There's only the one race, Mr. Cantwell and Shannon.
Shannon, but nobody ran again.
Okay, so it will be Shannon and the,
And Cantwell. Yeah, that's it. Just the one race. And it's being conducted by the county. So we just contracted with the county to put that question on that ballot. And it's also, you know, it's only for the people who live in that district as well. Nobody else in Seagraves can even vote in it. So,
well, is it gonna be here at the community building?
yeah.
Okay. Well, we just kind of needed to know if with that election was even gonna take place. Since we needed to have it in May.
appraisal district cost, looks like we've kind of kept it in line with what the prior years have been.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay with everybody, 8,000? And then insurance, I don't know why that's a little less.
Well, I cut that down because we just don't pay that much. Insurance is property insurance, liability insurance, and also things like workman's compensation. There's not much of a charge for administrative workers on that, whereas public works and police, quite a hefty price on that.
So if we've only spent 26, that would be about 260.
Yeah, I kind of split the difference. You had budgeted 8,000 last year, and we only spent 26, so I figured we could carve it down to 5,000 and be comfortable.
About 32. So,
Okay, so leave it.
I-
Okay. Okay, and then workers' comp, we'll leave it at that. That
Yeah.
looks,
Paper cuts can be expensive.
training in schools, 1,500, that's what we kind of had in the past.
That should be adequate.
And then the social security,
That's a portion of payroll.
That's about 7.
Oh, and speaking of that, advice from the Texas Municipal League is this proposed tax moratorium. Their advice is keep charging tax, keep collecting that, because if you don't, you're just going to get hung with the whole tab when the thing rolls over.
gotta pay it anyway. right?
You're going to have to pay it anyway.
As long as you got the money, I think that's 7,000. That's 7,000.
Okay, and so we're going on to retirement contribution.
I think I did the math on that and rounded it up at the 10.68 based on the 3% increase on the salary. You can do that math again and see if that rounds out.
Okay, and so health insurance,
Those are the actual figures. I have a table that tells us that you're charged on our health insurance by your age. And I based that figure on what age we will both turn next year.
unemployment 0, capital outlay, we're showing 3,000. Can you tell us kind of what that might be? Or
Well, capital outlay this year, the capital outlay, that 2,600, I do believe is what it cost us to buy the materials for the modifications that were meant for put in place for the pandemic. Once again, those are recoverable expenses, but I had to charge them somewhere.
Did you get a new computer?
I did buy 2 new computers that aren't installed yet because I can't get a technician to come out and do it. We're running on Windows 7. Windows 7 is no longer supported. So there's vulnerabilities as far as security is concerned. Plus more and more of the software that we run is not compatible with it. So at some point, I'm hoping to get Geek Squad or somebody out here. So you have to have somebody who knows what they're doing to be here and talk to Encode when you do that kind of switch, because we're open every single day. So we can't afford to be down and out of business. So I have to have a technician on site to talk to the technicians in Dallas with Encode when we make a computer change.
Okay.
So
There's a guy over at Denver City. He has helped us out a lot. Do you know him, Aaron Pacheco?
Yeah.
He's related to you.
Dennis's son-in-law.
Do you know what he's doing?
He was working for the school. We used to work here. He used to be our technology guy here.
But then,
I know
I thought he went to
Calvin
work for
used
Oxy.
Okay. I'm not.
He had his own little computer business.
Yes.
And I think he went to work for Oxy. He may be right.
Yeah, he did. He worked for Oxy,
Yeah.
unless he got laid off, but he was. I used him.
He's good, isn't he?
Very good, yeah.
Would he be willing to do something on the side?
Yeah, that's what he does.
Can you talk to him?
Mine, I forgot his phone number, but I can find it out. But my computer crashed and he cleaned it up and
Yes, he's good.
He used to work for,
Get him over here. I'm afraid that one of these days I'm gonna come in here and we're not gonna be in business.
And I said, it's not that old, let me take it there. He charged me $150. Since you've been using it 2 years.
Dan, on the miscellaneous expense, can
Yes,
you tell us what that 28,000 is?
well, that's all of the real property. That's the 3 lots we bought and all of the money that's in escrow on the Mailer property.
And then would that be also too where the city donated money to the TV station?
Yeah, that's on there too.
So that won't be.
That won't repeat.
Okay.
Those transfers and interest expense. Why would we have interest expense on yours? On your,
Interest expense, there hasn't been a lot of it, but it does happen. Late fees, that kind of stuff.
okay, is that where you put it? Okay.
Okay, is there anything else that anyone sees that we need to change? You're gonna take the vaccinations for yours and put on the police department, correct?
Yeah, the vaccinations, actually, we've been directed to take those out of dues and memberships. So
Uh-huh.
we're gonna make that line item and move that money over there.
Was it gonna be his or the chief's?
It's gonna be in the Chiefs.
Okay.
Right, you're gonna move it to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Okay, does anyone else have any other questions or anything?
Are you needing anything that you've got the money to do?
no,
You don't need a new chair?
no,
Well, I went over and worked for Tommy last Monday. His secretary was gone. And I told him that I would quit my job if I had a chair like she had. I called her this Monday. I said, why are you doing that? Get the
I've thought
chair.
about that, but I guess if, I kind of figured if we needed chairs, we'll just go get some out of the council chamber.
No. Here when I'm at the computer. I buy about one a year.
Okay, y'all, I think we've pretty well gone over everything. Does anyone have any questions or anything?
I don't.
Okay.
Are y'all good over there, Dan and Charles?
Yeah, I'm good with.
Do y'all think this is working pretty good? I think it is.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, this is working out. I'm surprised it is. And this meeting is left open. The invitation that I sent you on Thursday, 6 o'clock, I'll be here and just sign on again. We'll pick it up.
Okay.
My suggestion that we do the
Do what?
well, I'm thinking out loud, I'm sorry. I was just thinking, I guess when we do talk to the municipal court, we're gonna just do like we've done here on the salary. We're just gonna listen and then we will determine later, correct? Okay.
Can we meet 20 minutes before, like we did today, or just to make sure, and then how Renee was requesting that other person, just to make sure that I want to ask questions on that.
Is that what we want to do?
Yes.
Same way.
Yes.
Well,
Same,
We'll meet at 6 and we'll call him in at 6:20 or
So
6.
that's what you all did today, right? Mayor,
Yeah.
you had a meeting and you all met that way?
Yeah,
In my minutes, I'm gonna call that your executive session. You'll give me the minutes of whatever happened then. and then the normal session commenced when you joined this.
Okay,
Am I correct in that?
yes.
All right.
Deborah don't.
I got it.
Oh, she's got
Well, it all seems to be working pretty well that way then. And
Yeah, I
I
think-
think, I think it'll satisfy the open meetings requirements this way as well.
Okay.
So we're gonna do Calvin first. It shouldn't take 15 minutes and then we'll be able to do Renee.
Okay,
All right. Can I keep the key to the building and is anyone using it tomorrow?
Moneta said that no one rented it and it can only be used once in a 7-day period. So I'm going to assume and speak for her that why not?
yeah,
I'm not going to come in and clean it for you. So
I got approval from the judge, the county judge, to do it that way. That was an exception. Yeah, because that's what it does. If someone have it on the weekend, well, you can't have it anymore to the next weekend. But there was an exception.
Okay. So we're gonna leave our tables and chairs out.
That was the plan.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Thank y'all.
so you're going to
Good
move,
night.
you're going to move to recess at this time at
Yes.
8:49.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So noted.
Thank you.
Good night.